Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and welcome to another Spiritual Thursday. For those of you who are aware, my last Spiritual Thursday podcast was attacked rabidly by an individual who claimed I was defending a sacred cow and propagandizing, claiming that there are no androcentric rituals and that there are only gynocentric rituals in the Wiccan and Pagan belief sets. Well, I figured that I would use one of my favorite female authors, who has also stood as a high priestess of the Golden Dawn and is currently a high priestess of the clan of the Black Forest families, to actually describe the pattern of a solar Sabbat ritual in the standard Wiccan practice. Now, this is from her book, The Ultimate Book of Shadows for the New Generation of Solitary Witch. This is none other than Silver Ravenwolf. I will try to include a link to Amazon where you can purchase the book. If not, I will try to find some other link and include it down below for the purchasing of this book for anybody who is interested. Now, the description of the basic solitary Sabbat ritual format starts on page 74. And your initial pre-step is to gather your supplies. Step 1 is to clean your area. Step 2 is to open the altar energies. Step 3 is to light the illumination candles on your altar. Step 4 is to cast your circle. Step 5 is to call your quarters for protection. Step 6 is to read the charge of the goddess. Step 7 is to invoke your ancestors. Step 8 is to read the invocations of the god and the Sabbat. Step 9 is to state your intent of your ritual. Step 10 is to draw down the sun, which is the symbol of the god, not the goddess. The moon is the goddess. Step 7 is to perform your work. Step 11 is to perform your work. Step 12 is to take your communion. Step 13 is to perform your offering to your god. Step 14 is to thank the deities that you drew down. Step 15 is to release the quarters. Step 16 is to release the circle. 17 is to seal your altar. 18 is to clean your space again. And that is it. Now, she then goes into details about the major Sabbats and what they are discussing and why they exist, such as Samhain, which is the transportation of the god into the underworld and honoring your dead ancestors. Yule, the fight between the Holly King and the Oak King, and the rebirth of the god. Imbolc, where the goddess quits suckling the god, and milk is spilt for the prosperity of the next year. Oistra, which is the month of beginnings, the month of openings, the fertility of everything. Beltane, where the horned god comes into the strength of his fertility. Now, these are just examples, but these are all androcentric rituals for the most part. There are some female aspects to these rituals, but they are primarily male-centric or androcentric. And it's the same with the minor Sabbats, the female goddess cycle, the lunar cycle rituals. They are primarily gynocentric, but they do contain elements of androcentrism, as in many of them, the god is still invoked. In many of them, the priest still stands at the altar and works the ritual with the priestess. Same in the major Sabbats. And it's not just Silver Ravenwolf that talks about this. Almost any guide to the rituals of the Wiccan or pagan cultures discusses both sun worship and moon worship, because it is a duality in our culture. So, for those who are still continuing to push that Wiccan and pagan practices are exclusively gynocentric. I say to you, you are uneducated. You need to read and become enlightened, because anyone who is only practicing half of a religion cannot actually be a staunch supporter of said religion. Well, thank you all again for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or thumbs up and subscribe on BitChute. Also, don't forget to visit me at unapologeticpagan.com, along with all of the other supporters to unapologeticpagan.com, including the unapologetic pagan himself. We are a conservative pagan and Wiccan community that supports the community in its entirety and tries to publish news and specific articles that interest the community. Also, don't forget to check me out on my social media sites. Thank you all, and have yourselves a beautiful spiritual Thursday.